Film Europe is a company based in Central Europe. Our full service company, full distribution company is in Czech Republic and in Slovakia. We have a base in London and we have a base in Cannes. Film Europe, and the name says the best what we are doing. We are doing European films in all level of the distribution, starting from festival, going through the normal distribution, then DVD and VOD platform, television channel, and we are also acting as a sales house, so we are selling the films to free-to-air television. Television is always a media which was on the verge of either threatening the cinema or helping the cinema. From the early beginning, television was a big question mark whether it is going to contribute to the cinema or actually taking the audience out of the cinema. We don't believe that the television is a threat, is an enemy. We believe that our ecosystem of the distribution firmly and very naturally includes the television, but it has to be mentioned that the television is also having a very different forms. And what I'm talking about is the premium film television channel, which is actually copying or mirroring our dramaturgy from the festivals and from the normal distribution. So the Film Europe channel is actually the vital, very important part of our communication with the audience, and is definitely a tool to enhance the audience to accept European films. In the past, everybody been very happily locked in their corner. Distributor was a distributor, DVD platforms were a DVD platform such as Blockbuster, television of course, they were happily communicating on the television level. Today, if we are talking about the art house cinema, we definitely need more than just one level of the distribution. So the hyper level of the distribution, which means that we are not talking about the one level of the distribution such as cinematic, but about all levels of the distribution which are dealing with one topic or the form. So any level of the distribution which are dealing with the art house of or the European films are friends. They have to be glued together and they have to communicate together. This is what we call hyper level of the distribution. I think it's already worked. The only difference is that it is not actually run by one company. So this hybrid model of the distribution works almost everywhere. And once again, it is absolutely natural to either put some energy to put together those individuals or subjects which are distributing the art house cinemas in video festivals and television actually, either into some cooperation mood by having some incentives or motivations, or simply to do it by, as we are doing, by creating the ecosystem of our distribution level within one company. So the question is answered. Yes, it is definitely worth to do it. It's definitely already in existence. The only question is whether we are going to do it as one individual company in any single territories, or we are going to find right partners and actually to motivate a cooperation in between those levels. The very ground of cooperation is the same product, which is art house film, or better say European films in our case. Cinema is the first contact with the audience, and it's also kind of the anchor, I would say even media anchor, for the launching of the films into the territory. It's very strange actually. It was one of my biggest surprise that we were operating television channels with almost 1 million households in Central Europe, and we did not get such a press, such a strong and positive press, comparing to when we opened our first cinema in Bratislava. which is called Kinofilm Europe. Over the southern public and the press were overexcited about us. So they simply took our energy and work in the cinematic level, exhibition level, in a way much more serious than the television level, which is very strange, but we have to live with this, right? So cinema is still a kind of, I would say, high art, or in a way very, I wouldn't say serious, but definitely something which is more welcome than just the television, because television is everywhere, which means that it is not any. It is not bearing a unique feeling. Cinema is bearing a unique feeling, and you know, today world is about uniqueness. You have to have your uniqueness, your differentiator, your special something. And the cinema, since it is just at one place, and very often with certain programming, it is creating a feeling of the uniqueness. So that's why we open the cinema, and the cooperation in between cinema and television is very vital in our case. We are simply cross-promoting the same event, what is in cinema, in the television, by having the same programming. I'm not saying that the same films, but if, for instance, we have a French film festival, then we have a French film week in the cinema, in the television as well. Central Europe is actually our test region. We are trying to be very effective and very complex actually in Central Europe, but our vision is to indeed replicate this model in the other territories, either in Europe or in the world. And this is a long-term process. We did not even finalize our ground territory, which is Czech Republic and Slovakia. But I believe that within the year time we will be having it done, and then we are going to look into the future, which means trying to reach the other territories within Central Europe first, and then Europe and the rest of the world.